Welcome back to the dungeon. We're going to jump back in on our modest attempt at recreating Larry Elmore's Dragons of Light. First, we're going to finish up the female character and then move on to the male character. When I say finish up, I mean throwing the elements in. Everything's going to have to be refined at the end. Any handheld shields that you see me using are all my own designs, and I have a tutorial on YouTube here that shows how to make your own. I'm using the Harder and Steenbeck Infinity 2024 edition, and this gets a lot of raves from a lot of people, and I'm here to tell you that this is the worst airbrush I own. It's horrible. Now, I could have just got a defective one, and I'm going to inquire with Harder and Steenbeck about getting that addressed. But it's my second Infinity, and it's the second one that is practically useless. I'll try to use some erasers and some scratching. And you can see anywhere I need to be a little more accurate with where I put the paint down, I have to use the Aventus because the Infinity just isn't pulling its weight. So, and I'm not a fan of this method, working on white gesso. For me, it makes things very difficult. I'm used to working on a black background. I got some black gesso, and I'm going to be using that moving forward. But I have to finish this piece, so okay, so I ditched the Infinity moving forward because I couldn't get any kind of detail out of it. So right now I'm doing like the butt flap area that's supposed to be like an embroidered piece, and so I brought out the Gallery Seeker, and this is a $55 airbrush, and it is completely outperforming the expensive Infinity. So anybody that's going to tell you that Gallery stuff is inferior, yeah, you have to judge for yourself, because I'm finding their brushes to be pretty amazing. Okay, so that looks pretty good for now. Let's peel it back. See what we got. Okay. So now I'm going to pull out all the areas that are skin, flesh tone on the male character, which is a lot less than the female. Basically just his arms and face. So a little line in there just to show where the jawline is going to be as a reference. I'll draw that down with an eraser. feathers up. So when I started this project, I was using the Wicked detail colors, which I think suck, and I switched to illustration colors. But this universal flesh tone that I decided to use here is a Wicked color. I don't have anything similar in the illustration, so I busted out the trusty old Iwata HPC because that thing will spray anything. This brush has been with me a long time. This was actually my workhorse and what I used about a good 80% of the time for the better part of a decade. Yeah, I love these characters. Gilthanas, the male character, he's an elf prince, and was once married to the female character in this, who was Silvara. Now, Silvara is actually a silver dragon who's taken on the form of an elf maiden. Yeah, epic stuff. I'll leave a link in the description for a couple places you can find more information about the games, the lore, the characters. There's ebooks and there's an animated movie. There's so much. It's cool stuff. For anybody that don't know what it is, it's a D&D based franchise. It's the DragonLance saga, and yeah, I've been a fan of. I found an art book, The Art of Dragonlance, when I was back in the '80s, when I was young guy, you know, and yeah, it was. I always wanted to become. This is basically what inspired me to get into art in the first place. I remember I had my first airbrush, and I was like, man, if I could paint like these guys. In fact, I went into the library to find books on airbrushing, and that's where I found this art book. And now I'm just stoked to be at a place in my life where I can pay homage to these guys, these wonderful artists, and share that with everyone. Moving on to the hair. This little piece. And cover the face back up. Now, I'm going back to the infinity because I already had the yellow in it. So, that's what we're starting off with here. Now, what I'd like to do is chuck some orange in here to get the shade I want. Add another dimension to the hair, but you see I'm trying to adjust the pressure so I can get a fine line out of this thing, and it just does not want to give me the line I'm looking for. No matter what I did. And then it starts jamming up. I'm pulling the trigger way back and getting nothing. And then it just jammed. I thought I accidentally bumped the quick set, and that wasn't the case, and it was just a mess. I had no choice but to mix up the color I needed and grab another brush. So I broke out the Aventus, loaded it up, and like always it performed flawlessly. So there we go. So lay in a little bit of orange and use a razor blade to scratch in some detail. Layer it with a little more orange. Scratching lightly so we get a little bit of white, but mostly the yellow underneath coming through. We'll build this up. It's gonna be a bit redder than it is here, but and now I'm gonna darken this up and desaturate a little bit and build another layer. Every layer we add in compounds because the illustration colors are transparent, well, semi-transparent. They're not like the candies, but they're pretty see-through. So we just layer it in. Add more, little bits here and there. Come back in, scratch more, and I'm going to chuck more yellow back in there. Okay, I cleaned out the brush and now I'm running straight orange. This will be the final layer to the hair for now. And that looks good. Let's move on to the tunic. Trim this out. Do a white coat and then come back. Stencils down. Okay. And pull this middle out. Now, when this masking comes off, you can see, you get a much better idea of the shape of the tunic. That was a mistake. Rectify here. That's the belt, and that should have been black. No big worry. And now we broke out the Krios PS771, which is an awesome airbrush. And the reason I'm using this one for the blue is because I have it and I can. It's a pleasure to use this brush, so. Now, anybody looking for a good, excellent airbrush in the $200 range, and you're looking to do detail work, this is your brush. They say this sprays like a micron. I never touched a micron, so I wouldn't know, but it performs damn good. Build up. Now remember, there's going to be more shadows and highlights brought into this on the second round. Once everything's done, I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna fine tune everything. Hopefully that'll be an improvement and not just make it worse. While I have you here, take a minute to like and share and subscribe. I'm still in double digits. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, which is nothing, and then I can hope for the next turning point and try to build this channel. And I appreciate any help from you guys that I can get. Now we just pull out the white trim, because each of these black borders has a white counterpart. Now I'll end up putting those white pieces back in at some point to do the sleeves and whatnot, but I'm taking them out so you can get a good look at where we're at. Like I said, little touches. There's a bunch of them. Okay. Now, I don't want this whole piece out. I just want the white stripe on the back side out. Color on this neckband, but this Posca pen seems to be dried up. I move it with it's just smudging. better. So we're going to wrap this up here for now. I hope you guys join me in the next one. And don't forget to check the links in the description and check out some of the DragonLance goodness. And to all my high fantasy art fans, look up Larry Elmore, Clyde Caldwell, Keith Parkinson, and you definitely won't be disappointed. So. One last little touch. That white spot was bothering me. So, again, thanks for watching, and catch you next time. Bye.